Okay, we're working on a 2012 Chevrolet Cruze here, and the problem is that there's a little micro switch right here under the bow tie logo. It's supposed to open the trunk, especially if the doors are unlocked and you got the fob in your possession. And it's a common problem for it to go out. And if I use the fob to open the trunk, it works fine. So the problem is this switch right here. So we're going to take that out, and then while we're in here, I can see there's another problem at least, besides the fact this bulb is burned out. Looks like the head of the screw holding this lens in is rusted and come off, so it's only being held by one screw right now. So we'll just replace this whole piece as part of what we're doing. It's not a hard repair. Just jump right into it here. Let me see, get down here. First thing you're going to have to do is we're going to remove this handle that you use to pull the trunk down. I believe that's it's a little smaller than I thought. I'll come back to that. Let me keep going with these other parts. I'll come back to that. The other thing you have to remove is these pins that go all the way around. We're going to remove these. I recommend you use a special tool so you don't damage them. So the push pin comes out, that makes it expand, and then when that's out you can take the whole piece out. So you see that goes in there, it pushes it open, that's what helps hold this down. So you just go around and take these all out. Same kind of procedure I used on the first one. Again, you just got to get the pin first and then the retainer. It goes a lot easier with a special tool. You can try and use a screwdriver like a flathead. Just be careful that you don't damage these little guys because they are plastic and they're not super strong. After I get all these guys out, I'll go back and get the right size socket. Just gotta get right in the groove there. And I'll take this guy off, and then we'll take this little plastic covering for the latch on the trunk off. And that's going to let us do is get this this black piece, at least I hope. I think this is what it looks like when taking a look at it. This black piece off, and we can see how to go further and get to the damaged piece. Let's see, two more. Here. And the last one is here. Can't really see too well on the side. There he goes. Almost. This one's just a little bit of a cramped space to get in there. It was a little harder to get it out without deforming it or damaging it. Alright, I've got all those guys off, and I can definitely tell one more here. That's the main thing holding it, and then this here. So let me get this out. We'll pause for this airplane cruising over, and we'll pick it up after. Okay, I'm going to get this off now. It's a 7mm is what it turned out to be. And one there, and I can see a little bit of corrosion dust coming out right now, so I can imagine what that switch looks like when we get in there. Okay, yeah, you can see there's even a little bit of corrosion right here behind this handle. Okay, we got all these off. All right, so now we're going to take this guy off. This is just like a decorative cover. Covers the latch. Just one of your body shop tools, a couple of little clips, just slides right off. Okay, now assuming we got everything, we got this emergency handle. Oops, one more of these little push pins I didn't see. That's it. Back to the lesson, you never force anything. If something doesn't come out easy, you probably miss something. All right. This guy through. Take this out. We'll just kind of sit it right on this side. We don't want it to get dirty or anything. Okay. So now I can see there are some nuts on this side. I see a harness going up here, so this is no doubt the harness that we want to disconnect. Can't really get a good look to see. Alright, I'm going to have to get in a different angle to see how to get that off. You just go ahead and keep getting further up here. So I have to come all the way over here. I'm going to have to take the camera and show you. Come up on the inside here. And you see there's a nut right here on this stud. And then there's another one here. And then there's another one over here. So we're going to take those off. I'm going to pause this, take those off, and then we're going to want to disconnect this harness. I'll show you that. Let me get these nuts off. There's actually 4 of those little nuts. So there's one here and here, there's one here, and there's one here as far as these 4 entrances. And then when I got underneath, I was able to see in order to get this plug off, just push on this clip on the bottom. And it comes off. All right, so at this point, I'm going to move the trunk down. As long as I got all 4 of those nuts, should be able to get this guy off. He's still held on by a couple of plastic retaining clips, but we just gently, with a plastic tool, just gently work those loose. I'll show you what they are as soon as I get them to finish coming off here. Get that side off. These little plastic clips here are what was holding it on. They fit into these little rubber grommets. Speaking of grommets, we're going to get this guy out, and then that'll remove our harness. And so, looking at it, you can see, I can see the corrosion on at least these screws that held on the lenses for the license lamp, but I don't really see any rust on the switch, and I'm positive it's not working. So we'll change it out. Let me show you what we're going to change it out with. I'm going to set the old one in here a second. So I've got a GM assembly here, and this is a part number 952704797. This particular one, there's 2 of these parts, and the 97 one ends up being the harness with the license lamp assemblies, and I'm going to guess probably new bulbs in here. Yeah, new bulbs. Then the other part number, the 99, is the same thing with no bulbs and no lenses. And I don't know why, but you can often get this version cheaper than the other version. But either one will fix the problem we're after, which is just to get one of these switches. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to first feed the switch in through here and replace the grommet back into the trunk. And then what I'm going to want to do is fish that wire back down and reconnect it, because I'm going to want to test that this works. Since I know if I get the thing stuck, I can open it with the fob. Forgot about that guy up there. All right, so I can still open it that way. I know both of my license lights work. I also want to see now, can I open it with just this switch? And I can. So we diagnosed this right, and we got a good repair. Now what we're going to do, this guy's, I can't really find anywhere to put this guy. He's not going to keep falling down, I guess. What we're going to want to do now is we're going to get these old parts out of here so we can put the new parts in here. So I'm going to disconnect these two license lamps. And I'm just going to take the bulbs out so they don't get broken. And then, let's see, we pull this insulation through, and we can slide the wire out of that retainer. Get to, the thin part. There's one, there's two, so we got that out. Now the switch itself, I'm guessing, snaps out. Yes. There's a couple of tabs I can see on here that retain it. So let me try a small screwdriver. Hopefully I brought one. Nope. I have to try this. I try bending these tabs down. So grab one with my finger and push it through. And then fold it back. And we got it out. Now, I'll take the new switch. I'll feed him. Actually, you know what? Before I put the new switch through, I almost forgot. We're going to have to get these old lenses out. And since we know this guy's broken, let me get a couple other tools I know I'm going to need besides a Phillips to get that off so we can get that. So let me pause for a second and get another tool. All right, got my Phillips screwdriver here and a couple other tools. Let's get this old lens out. And what I'm going to do is I'm not going to reuse these screws. I ended up going to the salvage yard for some other stuff recently, and I came across a 2012 Cruze, and I commandeered these screws off of it. It was a Southern car that didn't have any rust on it, so they look very good. So that was the end of the easy part. The hardest part of this whole job is unique to this situation I have. I have to glue this back on here, this weather strip, but it's this busted off screw. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and grab this with a pair of pliers, and I'm going to see if I can work it out. Try some ignition pliers first. If I can't, I'm going to have to drill it out. Nope, it's going to be the hard way. So let me pause this and see if I can get this out so we can continue with the main repair here. All right, guys, I got that piece out. Hopefully didn't damage it too much. What I ended up doing is I couldn't get a grip on it with a tool, so I heated it up with a soldering gun to get that little piece of the screw really red hot so that it would turn easier with the little bit I could get, and I did get it out. So hopefully that's a done deal. I took these plastic, or rather, hard rubber insulators, put some silicone sealant on them to try and get them to stay down better this time when we put it on there. All right, so let's start putting this guy back together now. So we're going to lay this right up here for a moment. Easier, I think, to just make sure these are in good position. Okay. slide them through, and I'll tighten them up this way. Again, it's just a Phillips screw. These are the new ones, or replacement ones rather, that I mentioned, that I took off a donor car. You know, they're nice. They're not any corrosion on them at all. Just do them snug. And then bring this guy down a little bit closer. Go ahead and this one through. My screwdriver out of my hand in case I accidentally scratch something. There. All right. A little bit of silicone cement. Still on my hand. Okay, same kind of deal there. And after we get this guy in, we'll put the switch back in. So that's the good side. This is the damaged side. Let's see if we can get it tightened up. Yes, we lucked out. Okay. Last thing will be to feed the switch through. Just feed it through. And we'll push it back in. This ridge side goes towards the front. Rather to the rear of the vehicle, I should say. Okay. Snap it in. Rubber guys here to make sure that they're where we want them before we put it on, and then the sealant will dry overnight. We should be in good shape here. And I'll wipe the excess that has gotten onto some of the chrome trim here. Okay. Something to clean the rest of this off. A moment. I just want to get the bulk of it off right now. Get it on my hands. So the only things holding on right now are those two yellow push pins that we saw earlier. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put those 4 nuts back on, and then we're going to put the cover back on. So I can't really get the camera in there while I'm doing that. So let me get those 4 nuts back on, and then we'll put the cover back on. We'll start putting the push pins back. Okay, guys, we got this cover back on after we tightened those up, those 4 nuts back up. Just putting these retainers back in all the way around. So let's see, we got 1, 2, 3. Where's 3 at? Here we go. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Can't remember if I counted him or not. 10 or 11. And then we put the push pins in. You can see they got a little shape to them, so they only go in a certain way. And you can see there's a key shape for them. You put these guys back in the correct direction, and they'll go right in without any problem. Put them in the wrong direction, probably bust them. After these are all in, I'm going to put back the pull-down handle that we took back out with those 7mm nuts. And almost didn't follow my own advice there. Not necessarily going to putting all these back in. Just going to do a few of them here. All right, let's get the hang of it. Okay, I got a couple more to do. Let's go ahead and get onto this. Now, when you take this off, this guy has a couple of rubber washers. It's supposed to help with that corrosion problem we saw. What I noticed when we took this out, they had gotten all bound up. So this time I want to be a little bit more careful. Make sure they're properly centered. Whoops. I want to put this rusty one back in the same side that it came out of before, just so I can keep an eye on that. If I ever am ever in here again. Ratchet right, there we go. And get the other side going. I'd say just put these guys on snug. I don't actually know the torque value because I do not yet have a service manual for this particular model vehicle. I guess you just learned something else here. Put it on even so that you can line the hole up on the other side. Alright, I'm going to tighten those up later. Last thing to do here is to show you this guy. Remember we took this guy off. He's kind of like beveled down. The beveled down faces down. And that is it. I hope this helps you out in repairing a busted trunk switch. Thanks for watching.